everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabelle Knight. I am the middle grade fantasy author of the Enchantria series, and today I thought I would finally sit down with you guys and deliver my usual monthly writing update, this time for the month of August. August was honestly pretty crazy. It was a crazy month. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, including, working on my main work in progress, Island Keepers, doing a bunch of, a lot of stuff, including attempting to chip away at a graphic novel I've been working on, a few anthologies, writing competitions, and all of that. So, if you're interested in that, stay tuned. But yeah, August was pretty crazy. If you guys have been around my channel for a while now, you will know that I've been working on Island Keepers for, a while now. And I started this project in January during Crazy Writing Week, where I just decided to abandon my previous work in progress, KNA, and just set it aside and work on something, like anything but KNA, for Crazy Writing Week, which, if you don't know, is a sort of kind of like NaNoWriMo, but basically for young writers. It's mostly Christian young writers, and kind of like NaNoWriMo, except you're split into two teams. Whoever gets most words wins and all of that. But yeah, I started this project in January for Crazy Writing Week. Crazy Writing Week was amazing. And I managed to get the first draft of that book done within 1 month. And I wouldn't say it's the first draft, really, because looking back now, I do think that that was a zero draft, where I was word vomiting everywhere. Nothing at all made sense, and when I say nothing at all made sense, I mean nothing. Nothing at all. And I'm pretty sure this counts as a zero draft, which for me, zero drafts, if I start with a zero draft, that makes things a lot harder for me. So do I regret just doing the zero draft? Yes, but here we are, and I'm still trying to revise this book. And it's been going pretty, I wouldn't say well. I've been trying to work on, I guess, like the second draft or whatever. I don't even know what number draft I'm on, but, I've just never really been able to complete a draft of this book. Like, this whole summer, I have been working on Island Keepers in the hopes of finishing a second draft. However, that did not happen, and I did not finish any second draft because I kept, every time I got to the end of Act 2, I'd just look back and I'd be like, something here is not right. And so, I really could not move forward at all. I know you're supposed to finish a draft, and yes, that is a good rule. You should finish your draft when you're writing, but also there was just something so very off about the story, and I was really just forcing it. And so I decided I'm not going to continue with this. I'm going to go back to square one, see where I ended up getting lost, and I totally haven't just been going back to square one at least 5 times and just restarting the draft and never completing it. Totally have not been doing that, but totally have been doing that, so. Yeah, writing has not been going that great. Yeah. But basically, all throughout August, I wasn't drafting as much as I was just brainstorming the story, thinking of what ideas for the story and all that, and I've decided that I probably should not, try and decide if it's a standalone or a series, or just force it into either of those, because the question of standalone or series has been one I've been struggling with in this book, in writing this book, and so I think it's best for me to just tell the story right now and just ignore that, which is easier said than done. But every time I decide, oh, this is going to be standalone, oh, this is going to be series, I start forcing the story in that direction, and that doesn't really work. And also, I am a pantser, which means I write by the seat of my pants. I don't like to outline. Plotting never works for me. And so I think what works best for me is always just letting the story flow, let it go where it wants. And so that is what I've been trying to do instead of forcing myself to plot and plan, which is kind of, again, easier said than done, but I think writing has definitely been just flowing easier now that I've decided to just let the story actually breathe and just see where it goes. So that's where I am with writing right now. I don't know how many words I'm into this new draft. I think 30,000 or something. I don't even know what draft number this is. I thought this was, I really don't know what number draft I'm on, because I've never completed a draft. So is this still draft 2? Is this draft 8? I don't know. So, yeah. But that's where I've been at with Island Keepers, but I also have been writing a few little things other than Island Keepers, and one of them is something I'm just so excited about. And it's not a novel because I tried juggling projects. That never works for me. I get way too stressed if I do that. And so what I have been writing is instead a short story for a sort of anthology that I am going to be in, and I am just super, super excited for this anthology. So, the anthology is a science fiction slash dystopian young adult anthology, and it's kind of like a collab between a bunch of writers I know. And the person who started it was Agnes Crisler, who is a very good friend of mine, and you might have seen our interview a few months ago, I think, on my YouTube channel. And so if you've seen that, you probably know who Agnes is. And so she put together this science fiction slash dystopian young adult anthology, and I am just so excited for it. And when she first, when the idea first came up, I saw it in the writing community, in the online writing community I was in, where she posted about that and was asking if anyone wanted to join. And I was like, I love anthologies. I love these sort of short story collabs, but I am a middle grade fantasy writer. I don't write young adults. I don't write science fiction. I've never been a huge fan of sci-fi. I'm just gonna say that. I guess it's not quite I'm not a fan of sci-fi, it's just I really don't know that much about sci-fi. I haven't read much. I've read some, and maybe those were just not for me, and there are some science fiction books that are for me, and I actually have found some. And so I was like, no, this is not my genre. I'm not going to write this. But then a lot of people in the online writing community started to join the anthology, and including some of my best friends, and they were all doing that, and I don't know, everyone was talking about it, and the more I thought about it, I was like, this could be fun, I could try it, at least. I could try it. And so one afternoon, I did tell Agnes, and I was like, I'm going to try writing a short story. There are no promises that I will finish. I'm not promising I will be in this anthology, but I will try my hand at writing a short story for this, and if I manage to get the first draft down, and if it works out, then I shall be joining. That is, if I got it down before the deadline. And so, that is what I did. I told her that. I went off to brainstorm, and I kid you not, 30 minutes later, only 30 minutes later, my little tiny seedling of an idea for this science fiction young adult short story had ballooned into a whole idea for a whole trilogy set in China in the year 3099, in a very dystopian world. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not that great at writing short stories. My ideas, they balloon. They just balloon out. They spread everywhere. I'm better at writing novels than short stories. I hate keeping things short. And so I was staring at my idea, and I was kind of like, well, this clearly isn't a short story. And so I decided to set aside the idea for, like, I decided to set aside the idea, and I decided I would write a full series for this idea someday. And so I still needed a short story idea, and so I decided to write a sort of backstory for this main series ideas that I had, and I started writing it, and I absolutely loved it. I really liked the story, and it was super, I don't know, it was really fun, and it was also nice to just, step outside my comfort zone and try out something new, and also get a break from Island Keepers. And so I have been working on that. I was working on that in July, I think, and I managed to finish it in early August, and it was such fun. I did manage to keep it short. It's around 5,000 words, and so, I don't know, I'm just I'm really proud of this short story, if I may say so. Like, I'm just really stepping outside my comfort zone and building this world, and I absolutely adore this world, even though this is a very dystopian world where these, I don't know what they are yet, demons, ghosts, monsters, aliens, whatever, called the Huigui, have basically taken over the world, kind of. I don't know if they're ghosts or demons or whatever, but their name means basically gray ghosts in Mandarin. And they're basically called that because when they first showed up, that's really what they looked like. They were just lurking in the shadows, attacking people, and no one ever saw them. Until, I don't know, sometime before this story takes place, they basically took over the world, and now the world is in complete darkness. And I probably am not going to say any more than that, because I might give spoilers. But yeah, for some reason, I adore this world. So, and I guess a fun thing about writing young adult is that I really can have a lot more fun with, like, what I can do to these poor characters. Because in middle grade, you can make your character suffer, and you should. However, there is a line that you should not cross in middle grade, if you're writing middle grade. And so with young adult, I can, like, I don't know, dream up lots of different ways to make my characters' lives miserable that I can't really do in middle grade without traumatizing a lot of kids. So, yeah, that has definitely been really fun. The anthology is, I think it should be released by October 1st, and a lot of amazing writers and authors are going to be in this anthology, including Hallie Krupp, Journey Bloomfield, who are some friends of mine, and I'm just super excited for this. And yeah. I've also been sort of on the lookout for some writing competitions or, like, anthologies for young writers without an entry fee, because a lot of entry fees I can't really afford. And so it's been kind of hard to find those, if I'm being honest. And I've just been scouring Google because, I don't know, I would like to try my hand at entering a competition for young writers, and I actually did enter a poetry competition for young writers. I think it's called the Foil Poets of the Year Award or something. I don't know. I forget the exact name, but apparently it's this very prestigious poetry competition / award that I entered. And I probably won't win. I'll just say that. Like, they get, like, tens of thousands of submissions, and, like, there are, like, 15 main winners and then 85 runner-ups. And I don't know. Like, I've been trying not to think about this, and I've just, like, trying to forget about this, like, don't worry about this, but, like, I feel like the chances of me winning are very slim. So, we'll see how it goes, I guess. But I have been on the lookout for some more writing competitions, and I did manage to find a few. Well, not a few, but two. And I've been trying to decide which competition I want to enter. I also completely forgot the name of the competition, so I am very, very, very sorry, but I will find it after I film this video and link it in the description below if you want to check it out. But basically, it is a writing competition for kids like ages 8 to 16, and there are 2 competitions you can choose to enter in. I think you can only enter one of them. One of them is a prompt for like a time-traveling taxi, and the other is the Paper Portals competition, which basically you write a portal fantasy or something. And I've been trying to decide which one I want to enter. I feel like I really want to enter the time-traveling taxi one, because I feel like that idea is so unique though, and I feel like portals are kind of a not so specific, a bit generic, I guess. And I feel like I could have a lot more fun with that prompt about the time-traveling taxi. However, the max word limit is 2,000 words. And the deadline is September 30th, and I have no idea if I'm going to be able to make the deadline. But yeah, I guess I will just see if I can find some time to write that short story and trying to keep it to 2,000 words. Also, I am very certain this will balloon into a whole series idea again. I will merely have to find a way to write a portion of the story as a short story. So, yeah. Right. I almost forgot, but I also have another thing I've been slowly attempting to chip away at that I'm probably never going to finish, but thought it was fun and decided to include it anyway, and I also promise this is the last of the writing projects you'll hear about in this video. But basically, that project is a graphic novel. If you're wondering why I've decided to write like a graphic novel, it's because, well, no particular reason. I've just found this amazing YouTube channel that's like all about drawing, and I absolutely love it. I will link her channel down below as well, and it has just been inspiring me to draw, and I feel like my art's definitely been improving, and I decided why not try and draw a graphic novel. And so I drew that, and I drew the first page, and I did ink it in. This is what it looks like. It probably doesn't look professional at all, and, you know, the printing quality isn't amazing, but I printed out a copy of this and then did sort of inked over it. This probably doesn't look super amazing, but, yeah, this is what I did. And this is, actually, these are 2 separate pieces of the same page. So, something like this. Oh gosh, these 2 pieces don't stay together. Okay, so something like this. This is what it currently looks like. And this is just 1 page. I don't know if I'll ever finish this, but I think if I do choose to continue with turning this into a serious project, I probably will write a script for this graphic novel, because all of the graphic novelists I have spoken to do that, and now that I've almost gotten into Act 2, near the inciting incident, I'm just thinking it really would be much easier if I just first wrote out a script, revised that script, all of that, and then illustrated it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I won't abandon this project. I probably will, but right now it's just been fun, and it's given me something to do other than stay on my computer all day. So, yeah. I don't really have anything else to talk about in this August writing update. I don't really have a publishing update except that the trim sizes of the Enchantria series paperback versions are going to be changed from 6 by 9 inches to 5 by 8 inches. So I unpublished the first version of that and I'm putting up a new one. So if you don't see the paperback version of Enchantria, Enchantria books 1 and 2 up on Amazon, that is probably because I have unpublished them. But they will hopefully be back up with like the new trim size. Hopefully. I've never done anything like this before, so I hope it works out. But yeah, I think this probably wraps up my August writing update. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified each time I post a new video. And also, don't forget to check out my blog, springfallschronicles.com, where I blog about a lot of things, share snippets of my writing, do a lot of writing updates, and do some book reviews. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I will see you again in the next video. Alright, bye!